And to me, anytime you hit on a truth, if you can accept that truth, it's very freeing. Because then you know, okay, well, that's what that is then. You know, so then you live your life according to that. It's not like, ooh, I want to try to, fit a square peg into a round hole. When you realize only a square peg goes in, then you go, okay, I'll just put square pegs in there. It simplifies your life, and in a way, very free, and it's freeing.
As I said, I really like the movie, and I'd like to talk about the movie and also the trend that it seems to be influencing and reflecting at the same time. We're going back, and that has something to do with those standards we were talking about. People want relationships now.
Yeah, well, I think people want pictures with more adult themes. I think there's an older audience now that's going to films, and I think it's terrific. I mean, it's a lot of maybe it's the same kids that were going 10 years ago that are 10 years older. The 15, 16-year-olds are now 26 and up to 30, and they're wanting a little more from the films. And so it's nice. I mean, Dead Poets Society is doing very well. Bull Durham did well last summer. Stand By Me did well 2 summers ago. And there are films with adult themes and about adults that people are interested to see.
I mean, it seems like yesterday we had the sexual revolution, where suddenly men and women both said, oh my God, we have this whole area now that we can explore.
Yeah.
And now it's almost closed down in a sense for a lot of reasons. And now, as your film, I think, reflects, they want to become closer to each other.
Yes, I think so. I mean, the sexual revolution exploded a lot of myths about male and female sexuality, and I think it's like any revolution. You have to break things apart in order to bring them back together again with hopefully something stronger. It's like you break a bone, and where it fuses, it's stronger than where it broke. And I think that's exactly what's happening now. People are starting to put the pieces back together again and say, yes, we want more intimate relationships, we want deeper relationships, we want families. We want to have children, and we want to have the family is again becoming the center of the society, which is great. It's really great. And I think, but it's with a new understanding as a result of the sexual revolution and the women's movement.
I mean, I used to have the work on the assumption back in the 70s, and really even later than that if a woman was real, and this has something to do with your film, as a woman was real close with a guy, the guy was most usually gay. Because usually straight guys and women, as your movie suggests, have a difficult time.
I think there's some truth to that. I think that for a man and woman to be close, they can be very close friends, but ultimately there is a sexual component to the friendship, in between men and women, and that sexual component will rise to the surface at some point. And if it doesn't, it usually means that man or that woman is going off to seek another man or another woman. So that relationship is ultimately very limited, I think. And the ones that can maintain for any length of time there is a homosexual element to it, I think.
Well, one of the themes of your movie really is that a man and woman cannot be friends if they find each other attractive. You think it's
I think men and women can be friends. They can be best friends, but there is a sexual component to that friendship. There has to be, and then they can be best friends. But I think just friends, no, I don't think so. I mean, I think there are a lot of women, younger women, who would not agree with that immediately, and I think that there's an illusion or a fantasy that they can be friends with men, and that it can just go along and be this friendship. But I don't believe that's true.
I was just talking to a woman the other day who was very close to another guy, and she said she's going to make sure that she doesn't make love with him because she doesn't want the thing to be ruined. They're such good friends now.
Well, that can be, and she can protect that friendship for a while by not making love. But ultimately, that guy that she's friends with is going to find somebody else that he can make love with. And she will eventually want to have a sexual intimacy, and if it's not going to be with him, it'll be with somebody else. And then once that happens, their relationship will be torn asunder.
They won't be friends anymore?
Well, no, because then that relationship, if it's a true friendship, which is really sharing intimacies, it will represent a threat to the new relationship.
Do you think there's hope that eventually we'll reach a state in our society where this will stop, where men and women can be friends regardless?
No,
or just the nature of the beast?
I don't think there will be, and I don't think it's something that we should hope for. People are always saying it's such a shame, or isn't that depressing, that idea? And I said no, because it's just true. It just is. I think anytime you hit, and a lot of people are going to disagree with me, but I think it's right, and to me it's a truth anyway. And to me, anytime you hit on a truth, if you can accept that truth, it's very freeing, because then okay, well that's what that is then. So then you live your life according to that. It's not like, ooh, I want to try to, fit a square peg into a round hole. When you realize only a square peg goes in there, you go, okay, I'll just put square pegs in there. It simplifies your life, and in a way, very free, and it's freeing.
All this thinking evolved, in part at least, from your own experiences, right?
Right.
After divorce, or?
Right, after getting divorced and being subjected to the humiliation of dating again, it became the fodder for the film.
That's interesting. You say the humiliation of dating.
Well, it is humiliating because when you have been married for a long time and then you go through a divorce, you want, you're lonely. You want female companionship, and yet you're not ready to commit fully to somebody else. And so what do? You wind up getting into these half-baked relationships, and there's always sex involved because you need, you have physical needs, men and women both do. And then somebody always winds up getting hurt, or there's making more of an investment than one of the people is able to give, and it's humiliating. It becomes humiliating. You're subject to your animal instincts, your animal drives humiliate you. Ultimately. It would be nice to be able to rise above it and say, okay, I'm not going to have sex. I'm just going to live on this. But we're all human, and that's what makes the world go around, or something.
Is the way you solved it by making the film the way you solved the problem?
I don't think I solved the problem by making the film, but I think I have hopefully solved the problem over the course of the last 10 years, where I've gradually started feeling better about myself, and so that I could make another connection with a woman.